Hey, yo, Tears coming out. You hear that Tears coming out? Tears is dropping? Hey, they're dropping Tears. Oh, hey, Sprite just dropped. Gamers, I am a little late to the party. I'm not gonna lie, we lost electricity here in Canada for like 2 days. So yeah, you know, shout out Konami, waiting until I lose my electricity to announce Tears. Gotta love it, gotta appreciate that. Obviously, I'm not gonna act like this is my first reaction. People in the Discord were talking about this little forbidden list here to try to kind of nerf the tier limits a little bit before they drop. Now, I will say this is not as heavy as I expected it to be, honestly. I was really hoping they would either like ban Winda in advance or ban Snow in advance for this. Like, I mean, for Sprite, they banned Toad like before Sprite dropped, so I don't get why this deck they're just gonna let go a little loose here. It's still like a good limitation. Like, I still appreciate that they're pre-limiting this one. I know I'm usually really against pre-bans in general, but for this deck in particular, with the cards they're leaving in, I'm a little iffy on it, honestly. I think they could have done with less limits on the tier limits and more limits on other broken cards that they're gonna run, you know? Like, I would have loved to see a Snow and Winda banned. These hits are not gonna stop it from being the best deck. Tier limits is probably going to be the best deck in the game when it comes out. They limited the Kalos and the Perlerino. If you want me, like, I mean, you guys probably know what these cards do by now, but I'm just going to go read them for you. So here we have Kalos. As always, shout out to masterduel meta/decade. Really appreciate this amazing resource. This website is incredible. Kind of is going to get the engine going. Putting it to 1 is going to like kind of hurt their grind game. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think putting this card to 1, like, it's going to do a lot because it's definitely going to hurt the grind game a lot. But it's still going to be like an insane card even at 1. People, they can actually just summon it off of Instant Fusion as well. But I think we have Instant Fusion limited, thankfully. So like that shouldn't be happening too often. But they can summon Winda with Instant Fusion and win the game. Or if they want to, they can go Kit Kalos to get their play started. It's got really good effects. Basically, it's a searcher. You can either add a tier limits to hand or send it to grave. So depending on what you want to do with the hand you have, you can do that. And also you can target 1 monster you control, special summon 1 tier limits from your hand or grave. And if you do, send the target monster to the grave. So obviously Kit Kalos can target herself and then special summon from grave or from hand a tier limits that you want to summon. And if it's sent to the grave by card effect, including tributing itself, you can mill 5 from your deck. So pretty goofy. This card is a little bit of a do-it-all. I'm kind of glad that this is limited. This is probably like the best engine card of the deck, I would say. It's just an insane card, honestly. So here we have Primeval Planet Perlerino. When this card is activated, search any tier limit from your deck. So it's basically Rhoda in a field spell. They love doing these. The fact that they put it to 1 is actually really good for us, because that just means like if you like Ghost Ogre the card, you actually stop it, you know? So if they activate it to search, go Ghost Ogre, pop it, get rid of it, don't have to think about it anymore. So that's really good. I'm glad they put this one to 1. I think this makes a lot of sense as a limit. Also, like that effect in the grind game, you know, of every time you shuffle a card back into your deck, being able to pop a card on the field is pretty insane over time just in the grind game. So yeah, putting this card to 1 I think makes sense. It's actually a pretty fair hit in my opinion. Let's move on to the other cards though. So for the semi limits, we have 3 of the main deck monsters. So we have Merle, Havness, and Sharon. They're all really good cards on their own right. Merle is especially insane because like you can do kind of Sprite plays with it. You can bring it back with Sprite Elf also. If this card is normal or special summon, send the top 3 cards of your deck to the grave. Also, there's the universal effect, of course. If this card is sent to the grave by card effect, you can fusion summon 1 monster by shuffling this card, as well as any other monsters from your hand, field, and or grave, obviously, to the deck, and special summoning any fusion monster that matches those requirements. It doesn't lock you into anything. That's like the craziest thing about tier limit is they don't lock you. They don't lock you into tier limits. They don't lock you into fusion. Havness here. This one is like a hand trap almost. It kind of this one's like kind of hated because it starts your plays on your opponent's turn. When your opponent activates a monster effect on the field, you can special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, send the top 3 cards of your deck to the grave. So the crazy thing about this stuff, right, is if you send tier limits, you might start doing tier limit plays on your opponent's turn. You could even like summon a Winda literally on turn 1 on your opponent's turn. You could summon a Winda potentially, because you don't have to fusion tier limit with their graveyard effects. So there's just a lot of really goofy stuff that this deck does. Havness is kind of crazy. This card is just, it's insane. This card is insane. Also, I'm like, obviously I'm not super familiar with tier format because I didn't really like play TCG for tier format. I haven't really played TCG ever since Master Duel dropped at all. So yeah, this is going to be a little new to me, just like it is for a lot of you guys. But yeah, I mean, these semi limits, I think they're all right. Like I think the deck is still gonna be crazy. We have like the Ishizu cards, we have the tier limit cards. I think we Rule Kalos is confirmed for the set. Rule Kalos is insane, and I don't think it's limited. It's at 3. I don't know how many people would run. I'm guessing probably 1 or 2. When your opponent activates a card or effect that includes an effect that special summons, quick effect, negate the activation. If you do, destroy it. Then send 1 tier limit card from your hand or field to the graveyard. And if this fusion summon card is sent to the grave by a card effect, you can special summon this card. There's also Kaleido Heart that's really crazy. Kaleido Heart is confirmed for the deck. This card is absolutely crazy. One of the craziest things that TEARLAMENTS Kaleido Heart does is it kind of makes Nibiru really bad, because if it's sent to the graveyard, you can special summon this card. Yeah, if this card is sent to the grave by a card effect, you can special summon this card, and if you do, send 1 TEARLAMENTS card from your deck to the grave. So it just kind of gets your plays started again anyway. So sometimes people, what they'll do is just they'll summon Kaleido Heart to like play under Nib and then keep going with their plays. So it's pretty goofy. It's a pretty crazy card. Also, it bounces stuff on your opponent's turn, so it's good going first, going second. So overall, like it does seem like this is going to be very meta shifting for the game. I don't know exactly how dominant tier is going to be for Master Duel. I think we might be surprised because like it is a best of 1 format, you know, and from what I understand, like a lot of competitive players really like this deck because it didn't feel as unfair as a lot of different strategies. It's just a very skill intensive deck and very interactive, I suppose you could say, because it kind of plays on your turn, even on turn 1 if you're going first. We'll have to wait and see. I know a lot of people are not looking forward to it. I do want to remind you guys, when Sprite was dropping, people were acting like it was the end of the world, like, oh my god, Sprite is going to ruin this game, and I don't think this game is ruined at all. Actually, I thought the Sprite format was a really good one, really fun, diverse format. Now TEARLAMENT most likely going to be the best deck in the game. I don't know if it's really going to be tier 0 though. People keep saying it's going to be tier 0. I don't know if it's actually going to be tier 0. You can be the best deck in the game and not be tier 0. I think there's still going to be other good decks in the game, but we'll have to wait and see. Maybe I'm coping. I mean, the deck is absolutely insane. The stuff it can set up is crazy, and I can't wait to face Winda with Spell Canceller. That's going to be awesome. I can't wait to learn more about the deck and make some videos about it. Honestly, I like switch ups in the meta. I'm not too worried because they do keep it fresh in this game. They've done a good job of keeping it fresh. We've had bad formats in this game, but like ever since I'd say around like the awful format, which was Runic Stun, like tier 1, you know, they've just done a pretty good job of updating the format pretty consistently every couple of months. It switches up a lot. Like I remember not even a month after Runic Stun was the best deck, they dropped like the Mathmech stuff, and Mathmech became a super good deck and helped diversify the game. And that kept happening for Sprite. Like the Sprite format is one of the most diverse formats we had in the game. So even if we have like a really bad format that people don't like, usually that shit will last like a month to 2 at most. So I wouldn't really be too worried about it. I know a lot of people really aren't looking forward to it. Personally, I am. I like the dynamic shifts like they're saying here, you know. They want to keep the dynamic dueling experience. That makes sense because if the game gets stale, then that's bad. And the current format, honestly, I think is getting a little bit stale. I could do for a switch up. Everyone's playing like hand rip and stuff. So, you know, people might be switching a bit off of hand rip and a lot into playing TEARLAMENTS. I can't wait to make some TEARLAMENT videos. I got TEARLAMENT penguins that I really want to build because they are aqua, so we'll see how that pans out. It's gonna be really funny, but yeah, I'm looking forward to the release. I don't know how you guys feel about it. I'd like to know your thoughts in the comments, so make sure to let me know. This is just kind of rambling, giving you my thoughts on, you know, the new cards that are coming, as well as the fact that they're limiting them and stuff, because I'm a little late to the party, I must admit. But, you know, I still want to give some thoughts to the people that care. So that's it for me, guys. Huge shout out to my UCT tier members. That would be Bongerman for 20, Dad Dude Joey, Raptor, as well as B-Dubs, JQ the King, and Hit or Miss JT. You guys are awesome. I always appreciate the support. Thanks to everyone, the baby tier, Miss tier, you who's liking, commenting, subscribing, doing all that good shit. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm out of here. Peace.